Have you ever found yourself in one of those quiet moments, maybe late at night, just reflecting on your life? Looking back at the choices, the paths not taken, and that little whisper of what if kind of drifts through your mind. It's pretty universal, isn't it? What's really fascinating, though, and a bit strange from the source material we're diving into today, is how much we chase things like money, approval, comfort. But then when people get to the very end, those things, well, they often don't seem to matter as much. What they think about, what they regret, it's usually something totally different. So today, we're going deep. We're exploring these really powerful insights from psychologists working in palliative care. You know, people focus on easing symptoms and stress for those with serious illnesses, improving quality of life. These experts sit with people in their final days, and they've heard this one theme again and again: regret. The kind that whispers about moments that weren't lived, words left unsaid, chances just gone forever.
And that's exactly our mission here today for you listening. We're going to unpack the 8 silent regrets that haunt people at the end of their lives.
And the really tragic part, like our sources keep highlighting, is that most of these regrets, they were avoidable. People had chances, to live bolder, fuller lives, more loving lives. But often things like fear or pride or just being distracted got in the way. So the goal is to give you a shortcut, really, to help you understand these common pitfalls, these traps, so you can navigate your own life without ending up with that bitter taste of what if.
Okay, with that context, let's dive into the very first one these experts identified: worrying. We all do it, right? How many nights have you lost sleep replaying these imaginary disasters? How often has fear just frozen you, stopped you from doing something for stuff that never even happened? Expert, the source had a pretty startling statistic on this, didn't it? Oh, absolutely. It's quite striking. Studies suggest that over 85%, think about that, 85% of the things we actively worry about never actually come true. Imagine all the mental energy, the emotional energy we pour into anxiety over outcomes that are, statistically speaking, really unlikely. The source puts it perfectly. Worry is a thief. It steals today's joy, today's peace, pretending it's preparing you for tomorrow.
Right, but why do we do it then if the odds are so low? I mean, I get that our brains are kind of wired to spot threats. Maybe worry feels like we're doing something, preparing.
That's a really good point. There's definitely a cognitive bias there, this feeling that by worrying, we're somehow warding off the bad thing, or at least getting ready for it. It gives this false sense of control. But people on their deathbeds, they look back and see decades spent agonizing over money or failure or health scares or what others thought. And while they were doing that, they missed the simple things: their kids laughing, a beautiful sunset, just the warmth of connection with someone. That's the real cost.
And it's not just about missing joy, is it? The source mentions something deeper, almost physical.
Yeah, that's the really sobering part. The source highlights that chronic worrying doesn't just steal time. It can actually shorten your life physically. Neuroscience backs this up. Constant stress messes with our nervous system, can cause chronic inflammation, even shorten our telomeres, those little caps on our chromosomes. Basically, it speeds up aging at a cellular level. It's this direct link, between our mental state and how long we actually live that these end-of-life stories make so incredibly clear.
Wow, that really makes you think. Okay, so from that quiet torment of worry, let's shift to another heavy burden: unspoken feelings. This is the second regret. Hiding your true feelings. How many I love yous have you held back? How many apologies or confessions or just heartfelt words are buried somewhere inside, maybe under pride or just fear of getting rejected? What's the big consequence this source talks about here?
Well, the source really digs into how bottling up emotions, love, grief, even anger, turns into this kind of internal poison. It just sits there. It describes this heavy, heavy stone of regret that settles in when the chance to speak is completely gone, forever. Think about standing at someone's funeral, someone you really loved, and just knowing, you never really told them what they meant, or you never said sorry for that thing you held on to, that pain. It's permanent.
That's a powerful image. It makes you realize vulnerability feels risky, sure, but silence, the cost is way higher. Like the source says, nobody on their deathbed ever wishes they'd said, "I love you," less often. But so many wish they'd said it more. That really cuts to the core, doesn't it?
Now, let's look at the third silent regret: living for other people's opinions. From when we're kids, we kind of learn to please, right? Good grades for parents, dressing right for friends, getting jobs that look good on paper, but chasing all that approval.
Yeah.
How many of us forget to stop and ask, hang on, what do I actually want? Yeah. The source describes this obsession really powerfully. It calls it being a prisoner in an invisible cage. You end up ditching your own dreams, hiding the things that make you unique, basically betraying yourself just so people won't criticize you. And the irony, which the source points out, is that most people are way too wrapped up in their own worries to care nearly as much as you think they do. They're focused on their own lives.
Okay, but it's easy to say don't care what others think, but those pressures are real. Does the source give any hint on how to actually start untangling ourselves from that? Or find a better balance?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What the source implies is that it starts internally, cultivating your own compass. It means consciously taking time to figure out your own values, your own desires, separate from what everyone else expects. Then it's about slowly, maybe starting small, giving yourself permission to act on those values. Because the truly heartbreaking thing the source highlights, it's the massive grief people feel decades later when they finally realize they lived a life completely designed by someone else. It's that feeling of waking up too late, finding out you spent your one shot, your only life, playing a part instead of being you, authentically you.
Absolutely. And that flows right into the fourth regret. Abandoning your passion. We talk about passion being like fuel for the soul, but
Yeah.
so many people trade it in, don't they? For security maybe, or money, or just fitting in. The source gives these really vivid examples. The kid who dreamed of painting ends up in some gray office. The teenager who wanted to see the world get stuck in a rut. How does this usually happen, according to the source?
It's usually not one big dramatic moment. It's quieter than that. As the source says, passion dies quietly, not with a bang, but with daily compromises. It's that slow drift where other priorities just gradually take over. And here's the kicker, the challenging part, that security we chase. It's often an illusion anyway. Your job, your savings, your health, any of it could vanish tomorrow. But passion, if you actually pursue it, invest in it, that creates a life that feels meaningful, that sustains you from the inside, no matter what's happening externally. It builds this inner resilience.
That really hits home. People on their deathbeds, they rarely talk about the promotions they got or the cars or the salary bumps. Instead, the source says they talk with these trembling voices about the music they never got to play, the books they didn't write, the dreams they just buried. It's all about what went unexpressed, unlived. That void. Okay, number 5. Forgetting to live in the present. Oh man, this is a big one, isn't it? So many of us are either stuck replaying the past, beating ourselves up, or we're constantly anxious, planning, worrying about the future. We're scrolling, always waiting for this magical someday when we'll finally start really living. Why is it so hard to just be here, now?
Well, our minds are fantastic time travelers, aren't they? Always dragging us into old stories or future worries. It's almost like a default mode, a way to distract ourselves from maybe the discomfort or just the perceived ordinariness of right now. And the tragedy really is simple. While you're off waiting for that future happiness, you miss the incredible little things happening right under your nose now, like the genuine laugh of a child, the smell of rain hitting pavement, the simple comfort of sharing a meal. By the time people realize those were the real treasures, the moments are just gone. Poof, forever.
It's tough, but so important to hear. There's no perfect moment waiting around the corner. Those good old days you look back on wistfully later, they're happening right now. They're just disguised as your normal everyday life. We have to consciously choose to see them, to appreciate them, before they just become memories. Okay, this leads us nicely to regret number 6. Not traveling enough. You hear it so often from older folks. I wish I'd seen more of the world. Expert, why do you think travel has this unique power to expand our minds more than a classroom or an office? And why is this regret so common?
Travel fundamentally disrupts our assumptions, our routines. It forces us out of our comfort zone. It teaches humility, I think, seeing how other people live. It broadens your perspective on everything, really. And it fills you with this sense of wonder. It's hard to replicate that. But what the sources often point out is the endless postponement. People constantly say, oh, I'll travel when I retire. But they forget something crucial. Your health, your energy, even the opportunities themselves. They don't wait around forever. Too often, retirement comes, and maybe illness comes with it, or maybe, tragically, retirement never comes at all. That window just closes, and then the regret hits hard.
And the source adds another dimension here, doesn't it? About the world itself changing.
It does, and it's quite sobering. The world is changing fast. Forests vanish, glaciers melt, unique cultures are fading. Those places you're dreaming of seeing today, they might literally not exist or be vastly different tomorrow. So delaying travel isn't just putting off your own experience. It's potentially missing out on a version of the world that's disappearing. It adds this layer of urgency, you know?
Definitely. Okay, regret number 7. This one hits close to home for a lot of people. Refusing to take risks. I mean, on the surface, playing it safe feels smart, right?
Okay.
Comfortable. But what if the real danger is in never taking any risks at all? Staying in that safe zone, the stable job, the predictable routine, the relationships that never challenge you, it feels secure, but maybe quietly shrink your life, strangle your growth. What's the psychological impact?
This is what some psychologists call the regret paradox. It's fascinating. People regret actual failures, yes, but usually only for a short time. We tend to learn from mistakes pretty quickly and move on. But inaction, regretting the things you didn't do, that lasts a lifetime. The brain kind of processes the disappointment of a failure and finds ways to cope. But that nagging feeling of what could have been, the untaken path, the potential you never explored, that ache, just doesn't seem to go away. It lingers. It becomes this permanent whisper.
That's a really powerful way to put it. Playing it safe might actually make your life smaller, duller, and ultimately, yeah, way more full of regret. The source is pretty clear. Risk isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. That's a huge reframing for how most of us think about stepping outside our comfort zone. And finally, regret number 8, and maybe this is the heaviest one, neglecting loved ones.
Yeah.
This is that awful realization, often too late, that you valued work or your ego or just distractions more than the actual people who mattered most. You see it playing out all the time, right? Kids grow up while parents are chasing promotions. Relationships fall apart while partners are glued to their phones. What's the underlying trap here?
I think the trap, the deception, is believing there will always be more time. We treat our most important relationships almost like they're guaranteed, like a renewable resource. We think, oh, I'll focus on them after this project, after I get this sorted out. But the brutal truth, the one that hits people so hard at the end, is inescapable. Like the source says, nobody, absolutely nobody on their deathbed ever says, gosh, I wish I'd worked more hours. Not one. But millions, just millions, whisper with tears streaming down their faces, I wish I had spent more time with the people I loved. We take that time for granted until sickness or distance or just the finality of death rips it away and makes it impossible to get back. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it just becomes so incredibly clear that connection, love, that's really the only thing that lasts, the only thing that truly matters in the end.
And so, tragically, as the source really hammers home, many people only grasp that truth when it's far, far too late to do anything about it. Okay, so we've gone through these 8 really profound regrets. And you might be starting to notice a pattern, right? A common thread tying them all together. Expert, what's the core insight from the source about this overarching pattern? Is there one root cause?
Yes, there absolutely is, and it's powerful when you see it. The core insight from all this material is essentially this. Every single one of these regrets, when you drill down, comes back to one root cause: fear. Just think about it for a second. Fear of judgment. That stops you from being authentic, from being your true self. Fear of failure. That keeps you from chasing the passions that actually light you up. Fear of uncertainty. That stops you taking those risks that could lead to growth and amazing experiences. And even fear of missing out on money, on status, that keeps you chained to work while love, connection, life itself just passes you by. It's fear again and again.
Wow. That's quite an insight. And it's deeply ironic, isn't it? The very fears that we think are protecting us, keeping us safe, keeping us comfortable, they actually end up robbing us of everything that makes life truly worth living. They build the bars of our own cage. So, we want to leave you with a direct challenge. Right now, ask yourself really honestly in this moment, if I died tonight, what would I regret?
And maybe take that even deeper with these specific questions from the source. Whom have I not told I love you to? What dream have I buried deep down? What am I putting off, postponing for some imaginary someday? Just let those questions sit with you for a bit. And maybe think, what's one small, brave step you could take, maybe even today, to start addressing one of those?
Because here's the stark reality, the hard truth. Someday never actually arrives. Life doesn't sit around waiting for you, so neither should you. Our source offers this really powerful closing thought, a clearer path forward. Live boldly, speak truthfully, love deeply, take risks, travel widely, follow passion, enjoy the present.
If you do this, if you really try to embrace these ideas and weave them into your life, then when your final day eventually comes, you won't be whispering, oh, I wish I'd lived differently again. Instead, you'll be able to smile, look back on a life that was truly embraced, full of experience and connection, and with real peace, you'll just say, I truly lived.